Hi guys, my name's Subtutor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Now today I want to talk about something that I kind of touched on at the beginning of the week in terms of when it happened, but or what inspired me to talk about this. But ultimately, when Hannah and I had our anniversary of 4 years the other day, we went up into London. There were a couple of things that stood out to me, one of which I'll talk about tomorrow. But one that I wanted to talk about today because it was the more positive thing, and it was the more positive thing by a fair stretch, and it all stems from one key core kind of idea, I guess, which is something that, especially when I was working in retail, um, I didn't see an awful lot of in a lot of instances. And it's something that gets said a lot, but there's not usually a lot to follow up on it with. And so that's what I wanted to do today. And that idea is just being nice to shop assistants, being nice to waiters and waitresses and stuff like that. And it's sometimes difficult because sometimes you can have a problem and it can be frustrating and upsetting and all the rest of it, but it's always important in those situations to take a step back and realize who's responsible for the upset. Is it some poor minimum wage employee that stood behind a till who is there literally just put in the way to be in the line of fire for you when you're upset? Or is it your fault, manufacturer's fault, no one's fault? It's important just to say, look, I'm sorry, I don't mean to attack you personally, but it's frustrating and upsetting. Because then they're more likely to empathise with you, they're more likely to understand, they're more likely to help you out. But otherwise, we had a really nice day in London the other day. And we went and did a few different things, and we went and ate out and all the rest of it, and that was very nice. But then before we headed back home, we decided to go and have a wander up Oxford Street, which, for those of you that don't know, huge numbers of shops of all sorts and varieties all the way up and down it. And one of the things that stood out to me as kind of a highlight of the day was just some of the interactions that we had with certain shop assistants, people that were just working there, and it was what, it must have been 7 in the evening, I guess, maybe 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. It was a warm day. It was kind of quite nice outside, and so to be stuck inside working, probably not the first choice of the people that we were speaking with and interacting with, but we had some really nice conversations, and even when we didn't actually buy anything, we were just there to browse. We had some really nice conversations, really nice interactions, and it was, I would say, one of the highlights of my day, in particular, which is an odd thing to say considering that going to a shop and just talking to someone who is actively trying to sell you something to one extent or another, even if they are also having a nice conversation with you in return, that's a thing that I don't think many people would pull out of a day and go, do you know what, that was a highlight of my day, having a nice conversation with another human being, even though I was in one position, they were in another, and it was almost not completely oppositional, but somewhat oppositional. We were still able to interact with each other as people and have a nice time. Have a decent conversation for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that, whilst other things are going on, whilst we might have been buying stuff, whilst we might not have been. And I think that's the thing that gets missed whenever you have people going, don't treat these minimum wage or low paid kind of shop assistant, kind of large corporation employees, bottom of the chain individuals. Don't get upset and angry with them when you've got a problem, or don't treat them like shit just because they're there. Because when people usually come out with that, it's like, yeah, look, we understand how these retail workers feel, and it's crap. and the customer's always right is bollocks, because the customer is usually completely wrong, because they don't spend their time working with those products in that environment every single day, so of course they're not going to be right. And so you hear all of that, and it usually comes with a lot of anger and indignation and upset, which then, those people who are going to be arseholes are going to be arseholes. There's no two ways about that. You're probably not going to change them. But in regards to the people that maybe are more receptive to it, that's a lot of anger directed at them, or possibly directed at them, or that at least that they could assume that it's directed at them, and that might then actually put them in opposition to that and go, well, no, you're saying don't treat them like shit because I'm a bad person. Well, no, I'm just gonna treat them like shit if they deserve it. And the thing that stands out to me is, if you just treat people nicely, everybody nicely, have an element of empathy and understanding, and are willing to interact and work with people in a nice way, then, going in, having a chat with a cashier, shop assistant, whatever, customer service assistant, however you want to describe them, can be the highlight of your day, because you can meet some incredible people. When I was working in retail and in corporate environments, on kind of like the floor management or below kind of level, when I was first starting work, it was a case of going, wow, there are so many. I just expected there to be a whole load of other people, like the people I'd been to school with here, but we've got people who were ex-military from a foreign country. We've got people whose parents are diplomats from various places. We've got this pro-am athlete who's kind of trying to get onto the Olympic team. We've got this person here, we've got that person there. They've all got these really fascinating stories, and then seeing hundreds of people kind of just pass those individuals by, and at times make their day crap. It's a real shame when those people could potentially enrich their day in the same way that Hannah and I did, by having just some really nice conversations and passing moments with a couple of shop assistants at the end of our day. It was just like, oh well, as we're here, let's go and have a look around the big shops here that you don't necessarily find anywhere else, or that are just so much bigger than anywhere else. And just as a result of doing that, we bumped into a few people that were just very nice, very pleasant, and because we treated them like nice human beings, reasonable individuals, they were willing to treat us in kind, and it was very, very. It was a kind of experience that restores some faith in humanity, at least for me. And I will always at least try, even if I'm in a rush, I will always try to wish the cashier that has dealt with me at the coffee shop or wherever else, I'll try and wish them a nice day, and I'll try and make at least a little bit of conversation over the till, just to try and brighten their day a little bit, because that's what I wished people would have done more of when I was the person in that position instead. So it's just some food for thought here, really, guys, because it was just something that came out of my week, and it just kind of stood out as this example of why just treating people like people, and being nice to people, and being civil and reasonable, and looking just to make as many people's day better as you can, just in passing, just with a quick thank you, or a you have a nice day too kind of thing, can make all the difference, and how it can also then kind of feed back on you as just a better experience that you come out the other side of, and it was just more fun. It stood out as being really enjoyable. So it's just a couple of thoughts and things that I wanted to put across here, because, as said, like I've seen people, and not just some of the more sensitive people that I've worked with, but I've seen people who have been ordinarily, I would say, very stable, very grounded, very, very hard to shake. You know, I've seen some of those people reduced to shouting and tears and upset by just the grind of shitty customers and crappy people coming and ruining their day. And it's tough. Like, it can be very difficult to rise above that kind of thing. You need to have a very, very big picture kind of viewpoint to remain as unaffected as possible by that, or at least that's how I found myself coming out the other end of it without really giving a damn. You know, it's either you're in the moment and you care, but you're looking at it from such a distance that it doesn't impact you, or you just genuinely give no shits, and so it's water off a duck's back. But people who don't have one of those two perspectives in those kind of jobs tend to suffer so much more. And so, you know, just this experience, just that thing that stood out from such a really nice day that I had with Hannah, it was just something I wanted to bring to you guys, because being nice to these people who are at the bottom of the chain, and not necessarily even through choice, it might be through necessity, or it might just be because that's the only place that they can go, that they've been able to find work, you know, to survive. Like, I just wanted to bring across the just treating people nicely doesn't really cost anything, and potentially you see a return on it in terms of just a better day in and of yourself anyway. But anyway, as I'm starting to ramble now, so, you know, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. I'm sure that a good number of you, considering the YouTube tells me that most of you guys are between like 18 and 34, I'm sure that a good number of you guys have been in these positions, in terms of being the one behind the till who's having a shitty day because of crappy customers. You know, I'd love to hear your experiences and you know, share a little bit of sympathy between. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the video later. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in the video later. Take care.